Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas, another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have James Bayliss. He's going to talk about the long-term help for veterans out there that are in much need of help. But before we get to him, Jim, you got anything?
Yeah, actually I do. I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can, but you know me.
You can't be brief.
Yeah, I was going to say brief is kind of not in my... It's just not me. So anyway, long story short, a couple weeks ago when I was on the show, I talked about Pride Month and some of that other stuff, right? So we had Juneteenth. I found it pretty interesting that I walk in, I think everybody's going to be all dressed up in shirts and stuff and celebrating it just like they did Pride Day, right?
You put your MLK shirt on?
No. But anyway, I did have a Juneteenth shirt on. And walking in was the only one.
You can't get it right, can you?
I know, I'm like, so I'm confused. So I'm like, so our ETLHR was off that day. Now, keep in mind, she was supposed to be off on Pride Day, too. But she came in on her day off just to make sure that everybody was wearing their
Pride shirt.
Pride shirt.
So you think she's going to come in for the Juneteenth shirt?
Right. So anyway, so I went in and I had my Juneteenth shirt on. And so our HR clerical had a bunch of people asking her questions and said, well, what is this Juneteenth about anyway? She goes, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't know what Juneteenth is?
No, I don't.
But you know what Pride Day is? And we're like, well, I said, but the historical significance of Juneteenth, in my opinion, is way more important than Pride Day. And so then, you know, of course me, I'm always in trouble for something. So, well, how so? And I'm like, because it's an historical day. I said, it ended slavery. So I don't understand why it's so important to celebrate gay pride, but yet we're not proud as a nation that we ended slavery.
This country's backwards.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to get any further into it than that, but I just thought it was interesting because most people didn't know what Juneteenth was.
I didn't.
It's just like they're trying to bring back search and frisk. Really? What happened to the Constitution?
Right. I don't know. I just
stop and frisk or whatever it is.
I just thought it was funny. So then, James, you can't talk yet.
And the reason why I say search and frisk because that one Metro cop said there's a difference between search and frisk.
Yeah. So for me, I was like, do any of you know the Emancipation Proclamation?
Right.
And they're like, and they just froze. And I'm like, really? You don't know that? And they're like, no, what was that? I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. Yeah. So I'll just let it go at that. Like, people, just understand your history. That's all I'm asking.
Who was the guest again? I forgot. I was sort of wrapped up in what you're saying.
No, just certain things just drive me nuts. I don't know. I just think it's frustrating. But anyway.
You got anything else?
No.
Yeah. Mr.
I could
Bayliss.
go on for hours, you know me.
What is Pride Day?
That's the day that you feel good about yourself. You have pride.
That's every day.
Oh, it's every day then. Every day is Pride Day. So we have James Bayliss here. He's going to talk about helping our vets. You got a bio? Tell us about yourself.
Oh, moved out here with my dad. Did some time in contracting world. Interesting roller coaster.
Right.
A lot of bullshit. Came out, got home. Wife ended up jacking me. Took my car, took the kid, took the cash.
Did she take your dog?
I didn't have one of those.
Oh, lucky.
No, I already had a wife, so what's the difference? At least the dog listens. But no, it was crazy, and your wife, even though she illegally went into your bank, it's considered community property. She can literally take that shit and nobody cares.
Yeah, as long as she is on the bank account.
No, she wasn't. That was the thing.
Oh.
That was the thing why I went ballistic, because she wasn't. I took her off on purpose. And yeah, she was able to clear 2.3 out, and she screwed up the escort company. When I got home, my whole life was pretty much in a shambles.
You had an escort company?
Oh yeah. This is Vegas, man. This is where the money's at. Next to gambling and freaking alcohol.
That's true. And the dispensary's picking up pretty big, so.
Yeah, that's old business.
Old business. It just got legal the other day.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
As far as the world's concerned. As far as the real world's concerned, that's been around since forever.
Right.
You just didn't have allowed to have a store.
Okay.
But I just think it's funny, like I hear a lot of like politicians, I hear a lot of companies, like Help Us Out in Nevada, we've been dealing with their clown asses. All these people say, like, whenever the VA bounces them because they run out of those referrals, or those fucking rent vouchers. So they run out of them. So they send you to like these organizations of help and da-da-da. They say they're out of funding. But 90% of them go through HUD Exchange. All they have to do is I've been looking into it, all you really have to do with HUD Exchange is get an evaluation letter saying that you need that help. You submit that letter into that website, boom, you've got an account.
Are we still on your bio, or do we move on to a topic?
We completely moved to the topic. You missed the bio completely.
That was it for your bio?
Yeah, I'm short, brief, to the point, man.
All right. Wow, it sounds like you had a rough life there, Mr. Bayliss.
It's been an interesting ride.
Okay. So tell us how you propose to helping veterans.
Well,
because once you name some of the issues that's going on with veterans, and then how you're going to help.
Well, number one issues with veterans, honestly, I think, when boys come home, they don't want to be fucking bothered. They definitely don't want to be standing in a line, sitting in a lobby.
You're talking about the veterans when
they come home.
There's also women in there too, so you got to include them.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still learning this politically correct world.
So when veterans,
I see them as guys, because honestly, the women have more balls than most of the guys.
So when our veterans come home, what happens?
They're pretty much, one, they don't want to be bothered. They just want to relax. They just want to just chill the fuck out. But none of them want to go sit in the lobby, have to go sit there for 5, 6, 7 hours with a bunch of other dumbass people.
Do you know why veterans don't like to wait around? Because all their life in the military, that's all they do, especially when they go on operation. You
Hurry up to wait.
To take a shit. You gotta wait to eat your chow. You gotta wait to take a shower. You know, everything's about waiting. And if you're in the Marine Corps, you gotta be 15 minutes earlier or else you're late.
Sounds about right.
So you gotta wait for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, see, I guess I was lucky in the PMC world. We didn't have to deal with that. We usually just did what we needed to do and get done.
Let me strike that, except for the Air Force. They don't have to wait there. Everything's just handed to them.
On the golden platter.
Well, that all depends on whether they're on the flight line or not.
Who's
See, the Marine Corps, it doesn't depend on anything. You're just waiting.
Yeah.
even when it's right in front of you, you still gotta wait for somebody to tell you to go get it. Right?
Sad thing is that is true.
All right, please continue. So the veterans, when they come back from operations, or they get out the military, or they come back from war,
just come back home in general. They don't want to be bothered.
They don't want to be bothered. So what do you mean by that?
Well, like most of them, they just kind of want to just be in their what they got going on in their head and trying to get their head right and get themselves out of whatever they were dealing with over there.
Right. So how you propose to help these veterans?
Like I was just talking to him, we have the surplus within the warehouse, just stacking there collecting dust of those big ass dome tents we used out there. We have water trucks, we have generators. Cats that don't have a home to go to, Instead of saying, hey, we'll get back to you, give us a call back, go find a shelter, put them in the fucking tent. There's other guys there. It'll be just like barracks. They'll be fucking kick mode.
Right. Explain CASA to people some people don't understand what CASA is.
House.
Okay.
But yeah, and then you just have run a power generator, which they have those on surplus too. They have them sitting in the warehouse collecting dust. We have all the things that literally house our guys.
Right.
There is no reason why one should be sitting on the sidewalk.
Right.
There is no reason.
So you're talking about
But how would you go about doing that though? Because you know how the
easy.
military
When you
works.
get
Like,
out-
how do you
when get
mobilize
out,
it though?
You sign for your civilian gear.
Well,
you give them your gear, and then get a battle buddy.
Well,
Guide's been out already.
I need to know if you're talking about veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, or are you talking about homeless veterans? What are you
All of
talking
the
about?
above.
Oh, so you're talking about veterans
In general.
in general. Okay.
Because literally, from the VA, you can have a doctor that comes to we'll call it Tent City. You can have a doctor that comes to Tent City every day, spends a couple hours, psych, and checks up on everybody. They just do what they do: work out, have a workout station, have the TV set up,
Right.
give them an Xbox or a PlayStation. Them boys are in. They just figure out what they got to do, and their battle buddies. From the guy that's been home for a year or so, already worked his way through the system and navigated everything. He helps him navigate through that.
So you're talking about homeless veterans, right?
Just all in general, PTSD. The problem is a lot of us, we get stuck at doing our own things. Like, we have our own lives, we have our own shit, and we forget about our friends.
Yeah.
And some of them, like we were just talking about, some of them weren't wrapped right to go out there in the first place. And they weren't built right.
So
I tell people, when you leave your love, leave respect, leave morals, leave that shit at the house so you don't lose it.
So how would a veteran get this battle buddy? And for clear definition, those are mentors for people that don't know what a battle buddy is. How would they get them?
See, that's where the VA has to step the fuck up and quit talking and actually do it. Because I hear them do a lot of talking on commercials,
Right.
a lot of talking, but I don't see a lot of moving.
You talking about when you say the VA, exactly what are you talking about?
Like, as far as veteran affairs, the counselors, all they know is all the counselors, all the information they ever give you is what 201 already has.
Are you a veteran?
Huh? Technically, no, as far as the paperwork's concerned.
What does that mean, Mr. Bayliss?
What?
Technically, no, as far as the paperwork is concerned.
Well, let's see. I went through the same mud, went through the same blood. Don't get the same respect when you get home.
Explain.
Well, as far as the VA is concerned, I was a civilian, so I don't get VA help. I don't get the VA treatment. I don't get VA therapy. I don't get any of that stuff.
Why would you even think that you're going to get that if you weren't in the military? What did you do that would in your mind equalize you to the men and women that wore the uniform? What did you do?
What I did personally
Yeah.
was a lot of the times on certain ops that were off the books, I was right shoulder to shoulder with those guys.
How so? How were you right shoulder to shoulder with them?
I took 2 rounds in the back for one, and he was a Marine. I didn't even know the guy.
What do you mean by that? 2 rounds in the back. Where were you?
We were in Kabul, actually, in Afghanistan.
And what were you doing there?
We were doing perimeter watch.
Why were you doing perimeter watch?
Not allowed to say.
What were you a military contractor with the DOJ or DOD?
DOD, NSA, CIA.
So you were a military contractor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so who did you work for?
Blackwater.
You worked for Blackwater. Okay.
Eric knew my dad. And
Who's Eric?
Eric Prince. He's the owner of Blackwater.
Oh, okay.
And he knew my dad, so that's kind of how I got involved in that way.
I'd like to know a little bit about Blackwater. How is it training? What type of training you do? Where do you go? And how
That's
do
in
you
North Carolina.
How do you even qualify for Blackwater?
Usually you got to know somebody. It's not just something you walk into, hey, can I do an application? It's the application will sit on a very tall tower.
So while you were in Kabul, what was your mission there with Blackwater?
Embassy and VIP escorts as official.
Okay. How much did you get paid a month?
$1,000 a day, $1,500 on hazard pay. So it'd be your $1,000 plus another $1,500. That's only if we got into gunfights.
So you guys got $2,500 per day. Per day.
Per day.
And you got some veterans that don't even make that per month.
Where were you stationed, sir? If you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I was in the Gulf. I wasn't in Cabal.
No. The reason why I'm asking is 'cause then we paid the elders way more than that when we handled them envelopes.
And how much money did they give the elders of a tribal
I remember
unit?
one pack I gave dude was like 2.5
2.5 what?
million. It was
Really?
in a fucking envelope and literally just handed the guy.
$2.5 million in an envelope.
No, it was 2.5 in mini envelopes.
Oh, many envelopes. That's
'Cause-
very interesting.
And well, because whenever like other guys like they would go and accidentally blow up a house, we paid for it. Well, I would say we did, there because some of our guys were guarding the house where that money was being stashed. So that's the only reason why I knew about it.
I find our government very, very interesting, and the reason why
They're shady.
And the reason why, well, everybody we attacked was on the CIA payroll, from Bin Laden to Hussein to Noriega, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember an Operation Just Cause, I believe it was back in 1989, when we went to Panama to take Noriega out of Panama to bring him back to Florida for
That was the shadow company. No?
hold on, for drug crimes, distribution of narcotics, whatever.
Yeah.
So when the Marines went there in '89, and I'm not positive it was '89, but I'm almost certain. Went there in '89. We bullet wounds and shooting up and destroyed a lot of stuff, right? And I remember in '93 when I went back as a soldier for Operation Rushmore, Operation Task Force Rush. I forget exactly what it was, to rebuild. So we go and we destroy country, let's say, and then we go back and rebuild it. That sounds like a good economy, don't you think?
Sounds counterproductive.
We break it so we could come back and fix it, right? Right?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Anyways, well, the purpose of this show is for you to tell us how you're gonna help the veterans. I'm still kind of lost on how you're gonna do that.
Well, the way I've been trying to talk to me and Jason have been talking briefly.
Jason who?
Jason Brooks.
Okay.
Me and him have been talking briefly, and I've been talking to a few, was it LK Krabs? I've been talking to her, and I've been talking to Jim.
Jim who?
Freaking, what was his last name? It's the congressman guy that's running. Forgot his
Oh,
name.
the one that
Marshall.
There you go, that guy.
no, the one that was running for Congress. Now I believe he's running for Secretary of State.
Okay, see, I've been lost in the loop for a minute.
In the loop there.
I kind of was chasing another ghost that I had to deal with. At
So-
a big Mount Everest I had to deal
So
with.
you've been talking to these individuals to do what?
Basically, I want to start, because pretty soon a big company that's been here 20 years is probably going to fold. If not, I'm going to push until they do.
Who's this?
Help us, Southern Nevada. I'm going to push until they fold.
Why is that? They're not helping Southern Nevada?
Pretty much. Bro, like that place is like a joke. They literally from my experience when I was there 2 years with them. They set me up from a failure from start.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, literally, if I followed their program, I would have been
ask you
screwed.
something, Mr. Bayless.
Yes, sir. If I would have followed what they told me to do, I would have been screwed.
How long were you with Blackwater?
Huh? 14 years.
14 years. And you're making, what, $2,500 per day?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think about saving any of that money?
It was saved. Remember, the wife jacked it.
Oh, you did say that at the beginning of the show. That's correct. Yeah.
That's why this 7 years has been an interesting role. I had a plan when I got out. Mm-hmm. I had a great, solid plan, and just didn't. Didn't count on that one
I
loophole.
know. I'm still confused on how somebody could, although wife, how somebody could walk into a bank that's not on the account and took 2.5. What you said? 2.5 million.
2.3.
2.3 million dollars out of your account and doesn't send any red flags. Did you file a lawsuit against the bank?
You can't. It's community property. I tried. Because she was the wife.
Excuse me. Hold on.
No, but that's what I'm still. I don't know about these laws, and I'm still learning about that crap.
Because
I called the cops, I called the FBI, I called everybody.
What bank was this?
Bank of America.
I'm with Bank of America, okay? And Bank of America, you have to be on the account.
What she did,
or you have to be a beneficiary to the account, and if that's the case, you better show up with a death certificate before they release any funds.
what she did, according to what I found out from the bank, was she went in there with our marriage certificate and my deployment papers and told her that I got hurt and that I was a PMC. We needed the money for emergency surgery.
PMC, explain.
Private military contractor.
Okay.
So I needed that money for an emergency surgery. And then she needed it right away. I was really hurt, dying. She put on the whole waterworks. This is what the guy was telling me. She was there for 2.5 hours till they finally did it.
And you can't sue the bank?
No. Community property as far as Nevada is concerned.
No, that.
After I get divorced from her, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm waiting until my kid's 18 to deal with that because I don't want him dealing with court because that court system's crazy.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you said.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm prying a little bit.
I know. I could tell.
And this is a talk show, so we talking. So, there's Veterans Village out there that are helping homeless veterans, right?
They actually do a really good job.
And there's the other one, U.S. Care.
Yeah, the problem is that's only
what's that one? Help me with it. U.S. Cares or that help homeless veterans. What's that other?
U.S. Cares, I think it is.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
But like I'm saying, there is a handful of them out there, but there's more people than there is places.
Uh-huh.
And that's the problem. And a lot of people fall through the cracks because they don't know or nor do care to do it.
And you were talking about veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder and kind of, and then you mentioned about the VA needs to do more to help with these vets. Have you met with the Veterans Administration over here in Northern Nevada, the head of the VA?
No, I haven't. I've only had the beneficiary of calling on the phone and hearing if I want to commit suicide 15 times.
But why would you even do that if you?
Because I have a few friends that work within that area of the.
So you call in on behalf of the veteran?
Right.
Oh, okay. You're not calling on behalf of yourself?
No.
Oh,
and then I usually get and I'm like, dude, this guy, like, seriously, you need to have a crisis unit. And have somebody, like, seriously, if a guy calls and he's really going nuts, don't send 911 because that's going to bring issues. Right. Send brothers, people that will relate to him.
Okay.
That's what I honestly think would fix a lot of issues.
Well, that was the purpose of putting veteran on driver's license, to try to have a camaraderie between the veteran and
but 9 times
police.
out of 10, if you have that, I've actually know a few cops out here, and it's actually a sad fact. They know you're a vet. The cop's ego seems to get huge.
You think so?
Oh yes, sir.
And why is that?
I think they feel inferior. Because let's face it, even with their gun and their baton and 12 of their guys, one of us could knock their shit out the box in seconds.
Unless they're a vet themselves.
Yeah, then they got a standing chance.
I'm still not hearing how you're going to help vets, though.
But like I was telling you within the HUD Exchange, you can get the funds from a letter within 14 days. This is the one because I learned about HUD Exchange when I was dealing with Help Us Out of Nevada's crap, and I actually started looking into them. There's videos on there that actually trained you how to deal with the whole HUD and grant world. That's how I learned about what was going on with the grant world and how everything works. Because 9 times out of 10, like the rent vouchers and all of those, they run off of that COC grant, which helps people with SSI disabilities and VA and disabilities. Mm-hmm. So why I hear people saying they're out of funding or they don't have I don't understand that reason.
Well, you know, Social Security disability is one of the hardest things you could get because Social Security don't want to come off of that money. You got to be like, if you're a disabled vet and the government says you're disabled and you apply for Social Security goes, you're not disabled.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a huge conflict between the VA disability benefits and Social Security disability benefits. They're just not on the same page.
Yeah, good thing is I got my SSDI because I got an incision and where half my ass is gone and my back's jacked up.
Oh. Well, you're one of the fortunate people that actually got the Social Security disability benefits because I've known a lot of veterans that are disabled with the VA, but Social Security won't budge.
Well, I could say as far as me, I've been fortunate as far as the legal world. Like I was telling you with family court, I dealt with family courthouse myself. I got my kid on my own with a very big deck stacked against me. I even had judges where I literally had to compel them to help me.
Right.
Because otherwise, when you get there, they're very hostile.
Yeah.
And you didn't even do shit wrong. She was the lying tramp and everything else, but they're being mean to you.
Well,
Okay, we're getting side. Let's not get on family court right this
Roger that.
he knows that we'll be there all week.
Yeah, right. So James, here's a question for you. So like obviously, listening to you, it seems like you understand the HUD Exchange and you understand and unfortunately, you know, you had to go through this for getting Social Security disability. So wouldn't it be a better avenue if since you understand the paperwork and the process, like what are you doing? Like maybe you could meet with these veterans and actually help them navigate through some of this paperwork.
I would be willing to do that. Still trying to get my life still in order, like I was saying.
Yeah.
Still got to get a car situated because my girl drives me around everywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like,
but
if
I would,
you understand the paperwork and
honestly,
stuff like
if I
that.
had cars and I've had a few guys that I know call me that were in crisis at 3:00 in the morning, and I literally took my girl's car and got the fuck up and went to his house.
Yeah.
Well, you know, COVID changed a lot of.
I didn't care about that. The way
meet
I
and
see
greet.
it.
I mean, you could Skype these veterans in. You could call them.
The way I see with those masks, bro. If you don't wear a condom, shut the fuck up about the mask. Seriously.
I'm lost between the condoms.
Yeah.
And the mask.
Well, like, okay, you lost me.
If you don't wear a condom when you're fucking, because you can catch AIDS, you can catch STDs.
Right.
Don't worry about the fucking flu.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
All right.
So like between our with all the different RX shit they had us doing, because like we were the same as y'all with as far as the guinea pig world. So I figured probably took the vaccine a long ass time ago and just never knew it. And if you drink from one of them trailers, COVID's the least of your problems. So that's why I was never really too worried about the whole COVID factor. I haven't been sick in almost 17 years. I'm not even a cold.
That's good. You got a good immune system.
So I don't really worry about that stuff.
I'm just. I'm just still confused on how you helping vets. What the hell is that noise? Are you hearing that?
Yeah.
It's my glasses.
Okay. So
It's the Bose tones.
nice glasses. Could it see through things? Anyway, so
Not yet. Give me a couple weeks.
I'm just on this vet thing. How you helping vets? I'm not hearing it.
Well, like I said, the main thing is I want to work on the backpack system.
Yeah.
And I want to get that situated because then we can get that to literally like homeless shelters. If they don't have the area to give them, throw them a backpack.
Okay.
And as far as the tent city world, I want to first we would require getting property.
It's U.S. vets, not U.S. cares. It's U.S. vets. They're on. I believe they're on Las Vegas Boulevard and Bonanza. that house veterans. And then there's Veterans Village. Have you?
I've seen Veterans Village.
Have
I've actually been there
Have you
before.
met with Dr. Stark?
No, I have not. I've actually heard about him, and I've heard a lot of good things.
Okay, so how long you been doing this helping veteran thing?
Believe it or not, I've only been actually figuring everything out since I got screwed up myself, because I got.
How long has that been?
2 years.
And you haven't met with none of these people yet?
I had my own shit to deal with. I wasn't worried about me with nobody.
Well, how the hell
I
are
had
you
my
going
kid
to help
deal with.
veterans if you weren't about helping yourself?
Well, no, that's the thing is I literally navigated that shit myself. I had nobody helping me. I had to figure out 211. Had to figure out like what the veteran affairs was telling me what to do and who to go to, and then deal with their bullshit in their ping pong world. Literally, everybody plays ping pong with you, and it gets quite frustrating where you're just like, fuck this shit.
So if a vet needs some assistance, how are they going to be able to get a hold of you?
Well, they can contact you, and you know how to get a hold of me. Or
Oh shit! Well, you know what? I charge for being a secretary, just to let you know.
it's okay. As long as you don't go under my desk, we're okay.
Jesus. All right, Jim. You got anything else for Mr. Bayliss? I think the show's coming to an end.
Yeah. No, I mean, just other than, like, I commend you on, I think a couple things. I think number one, maybe, and I'm just guessing here, maybe some of the loopholes that you've had to jump through are because, and just for clarification too, I am not an actual veteran myself. Mm-hmm. So maybe some of that had to do with some of the loopholes you had, because the whole veterans contractor thing gets a little sticky with when you got to deal with the VA on certain things. But since you were able to navigate this stuff yourself and understand how you get ping-ponged around, I think it would be a really good idea. Like, maybe the first step in helping veterans would be to show them how not to get ping-ponged around. A good example of that is the work that Steve does through Family Court. There's tons of people that reach out to Steve all the time that basically the same thing happens with them once they enter Family Court. They get ping-ponged around, and the judge is doing all this crazy stuff that's not
Really wonky.
Yeah, that's not legal, and then like lawyers are fighting amongst themselves, and Steve brings a lot of people in and helps them say, okay, well, if this happened, then this is the avenue you need to follow, and he gives them a lot of direction in that. So I think that might be a good avenue for
Basically, drawing a roadmap.
essentially. And like, there's plenty of people out there that will say that like, that's not a service, but it actually is. Because people do get frustrated, veterans in particular get frustrated, and they just throw their hands up. Well, they're entitled to this. I mean, if this country's going to send them to war and put them through the hell that we put them through, then if they're owed something, they deserve to get it. And you, being someone who's navigated that system, can help them get what they deserve.
My favorite thing is, like, most of the time with, like, we'll go with Help Us Out Nevada, Catholic Charities.
Yeah.
They usually, if they...
How about Opportunity Village?
I never really dealt with them.
Okay.
Opportunity Village, isn't that the one... Ooh, that was about the... isn't that the ones that deal with the... Hold on, I'm trying to figure out the politically correct term. There you go.
Mentally challenged?
Yeah, there you go. That's the ones that the Christmas thing with all the Santa Claus and all them, right? That place is really awesome, actually. I've actually been there, like the Christmas thing. They're actually pretty cool. But no, I've never really dealt with those guys.
Okay. Well, Mr. Bayliss, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been very, very entertaining, to say the least. But before we go, I'd like for you to look into the camera and you know, drive folks to you on how you would help them, or some closing remarks and your point of contact.
Okay. Well, basically, if anybody needs help with just as navigating the world, this craziness of whatever Nevada wants to throw at you, give me a call if you need help with anything, really. Jack of all trades, master of none. Can figure out any problem and any solution. So if you need me, just call me 702-882-7419. Or you can contact Steve, and he knows how to get a hold of me through email. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, Jim? Oh. All right. Folks, again, thank you so much, Mr. Bayliss, for being on the program.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Folks, that's James Bayliss. We were discussing on how to help veterans. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas, with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Until next week.